Yowdy. Episode lucky number 7 here on Josh Lopez Wrestling Podcast on the Arena Sports Network here on a Wednesday. It's a hump day. Oh, hey, Sally. Are you ready for hump day? The weekend's almost here. Shut up, bitch. Yeah, on my face. How's it going, everybody? I am Josh Lopez. You can follow me on Twitter at WZ Josh Lopez. Hope you guys are enjoying your day, your week so far, wherever you're at. I'm here in Chirac. One day there's fire and all the power goes out. The next day there's mass killings. And the next day we have a sea of terrible radio hosts going on terrible soliloquies about baseball teams. So you get a mix of everything in the city of Chirac. But this is not a baseball show. This is not a Chicago show. This is a wrestling show. And I want to thank everybody that's taken the time to check out our shows over the past couple weeks. It's all thanks to you guys. Thanks to all our good friends outside of the show that support our show as well, like Matt McCool and everybody else from WrestlingRumors.net and all those good people as well. I am joined as always by it is National Best Friend Day, so I guess I can use this for one of my new best friends. He's not new, but me and him known him for a while, and he's like the big brother I never had, and his name is Adam Daley. What's going on, good brother?
Josh, what's up? It's funny. It's National Best Friends Day. I also like that we, for some reason in America, if you haven't realized, the rest of the world, we have to have a day for everything.
Yeah.
So today's National Best Friend Day, and watch, Josh, tomorrow will be like something completely horrible. So it's like, I always watch what I say when it's National Something Day. Wasn't it National Donut Day the other day too?
Yeah. It was,
yeah,
I think it was National Chocolate Ice Cream Day yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. You guys are
we are self-important people. But no, thank you, Josh. Glad to be back on again. Hello, everybody, no matter where you're at. Should have an interesting show for you guys today.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And if you guys missed our draft episode last week, that was a lot of fun. We have our rosters in the description box of that episode. Go check it out. Let us know which roster you guys preferred more. That was a lot of fun. Me and Adam, we never had the opportunity to show our own creativity with our own rosters. Who knows? Maybe one day me and Adam would come on here and book a episode of Raw with the current roster on TV. Maybe like me and Adam will have our own booking session and do something like that. I think that'd be pretty cool. I remember Vince Russo would like write his own edition of Raw for today on the old Pyro and Ballyhoo site before he did the brand stuff. And I thought that was pretty cool. So maybe something like that. We could do this in audio version. I think that'd be pretty cool one day to show the creativity me and Mr. Punkster have, because you probably won't find two guys that are more in tune with today's product than me and Mr. Daley. So you're in for a good one today. We got a lot to talk about with Money in the Bank coming up next Sunday. We got the Brock Lesnar news that came out over the weekend. We'll talk a little bit of Muhammad Ali to wrap up the show today. I want you guys to do us a favor throughout the show. Dish out your top 3 Money in the Bank ladder matches. We may close out the show with that, with our top 3 Money in the Bank ladder matches. Just a little something to do since Money in the Bank is coming up. It's probably one of my favorite pay-per-views of the year, and top 3 lists are always fun to do, or keep it 100 like the old countdown recount days. Did that a lot as well. So
which admittedly, come on, we did take from the nightly show with Larry Wilmore. It's a skit that they do, and I love the comedians they have on there. Like I love Ricky Velez, I love Mike Yard, what's his name, Rory Albanese. And so I kind of ripped it from that show. It
was We're gonna talk about Raw this week from Oklahoma City. I thought it was pretty good. I have an interesting backstory, and Am does too. We actually did something kind of unique in the same way. This is the first time I didn't watch Raw live in like 5 years, so I'll tell you my backstory and my thoughts on the show overall in a little bit. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff to get to. Maybe Adam will bring us something out of the blue that I don't know, and maybe a lot of times when we come on this podcast, we shoot the shit. So you really don't know what we're gonna say. And I think that's the cool thing with our podcast, is amongst of other people, it's genuine. It comes off the top of our head and our heart. You can agree or disagree, but at least we're being honest with you guys. So thank you guys for checking out the show.
Yeah, Josh, I think that's just the frightening charm that we bring. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's the those idiots are at it again, and
There
it's
you
like
go.
too verse internet thing.
Watch out, Michael.
Yeah, right.
All right. Let's start off with the Brock news because I will openly admit it. I am not a UFC mark. I respect every MMA fighter that takes the risk to put their body on the line in an octagon and all that. Cool. I'll find it dandy. I got friends who cover UFC like Steve Muhausen. Go check him out, or Mike Pendleton. But like, UFC just doesn't do it for me. I don't know. I try to watch it a lot when they had the UFC Fox specials in Chicago, but I don't know. It just wasn't for me. I feel like the fighters are dull. I think I don't know. It's just a lot about UFC that's just unappealing to me. Like growing up as a kid, besides wrestling, I was a big boxing fan, and UFC wasn't even that big back then, so I'd really rarely pay attention to it. It was like when I knew UFC was getting big, it was like when Chuck Liddell's there, or when Brock first went to UFC. And now we go back to today now. Over the weekend, Brock Lesnar announces that, oh, hey, I'm going to be at UFC 200, and I'm going to fight the 8th ranked heavyweight guy in the world in UFC as my guy. So Brock Lesnar is going to fight Mark Hunt. I'm not. We here, the Josh Lopez Wrestling Podcast, they're not going to give you a fighting report because you can find that everywhere else where the quote unquote UFC experts. But I don't know, man. Hey, money is money. I heard Brock is making right around $10 to $15 million for this pay-per-view, which is absolutely insane. And good for him. But there was also news saying that Brock will be at SummerSlam. So, Vince again was not going to get nothing out of this deal, at least some type of announcement. So I'll pose this question to you, Adam, because this is a question everybody's talking about. Do you think this is a good situation for WWE or a bad situation? Or are you in the middle?
You know what? I don't really think it's in any kind of just in my personal opinion, I don't think it's in any kind of situation other than Brock Lesnar saying, listen, I'm doing it whether you like it or not. I mean, I don't know what was said, but, whenever what I took from Brock Lesnar on ESPN saying very brazenly that, we just sat down and had a big boy conversation as he was laughing the whole time. That kind of, and I could be completely wrong, but that to me said that he walked in and said, all right, here's $10 to $15 million that I'm going to make at UFC. So you're either going to let me do it or you'll just never see me in WWE again. I really don't care. I don't know. I think money just talks, and I don't think WWE has. So is it a good thing or a bad thing? I think it's just how they handle it, to be honest. I don't think it's too right now. It's too early to say. If Brock wins, obviously it's a huge thing for WWE. But I don't necessarily think that if Brock were to lose either, it's not reflective of WWE either, So I think it's just however they handle what happens at UFC 200, which is, I think, just an insane thing to even say to begin with. Like the WWE is going to basically have to kind of be reactive from a UFC pay-per-view the month before. I think that's, dude, this is like unprecedented.
I think it's cool. I'm happy for him. If this is something he wants to do, go ahead, knock your socks off. Hey, money is money. If you're going to get $10 to $15 million out of a big pay-per-view like this, hey, man, you can't rag at the guy. And it kind of makes sense. Brock was one of the biggest draws in UFC history as far as pay-per-view is concerned. He was at UFC 100, and I guess it's kind of full circle in a way. I don't know if this is a one-off thing or if this could be down more fights in the future. We'll see what happens. But my thing is like, yeah, I could understand where people are coming from, where they're like, oh, okay, how can you go and make Brock Lesnar look like the beast box on WWE television, and then he gets knocked out by Mark Hunt. I understand where people are coming from with that, but it's not like Vince McMahon's like saying it's wasn't like Vince McMahon had this great idea on a Saturday morning. Oh, hey Brock, why don't you go to USC and have a fight at UFC 200, and we get some pub for SummerSlam? I'm like if you guys really think that Vince McMahon's the one telling Brock to go fight Mark Hunt, like you're an idiot. Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Adam.
No, yeah, just real quick. There's more to it than I think people understand because UFC is, I think, up for sale. There's talks that if it does get bought by somebody, Dana White's leaving, Joe Rogan's leaving. That Ariel Helwani already got. I don't understand why he got let go. Especially because they started putting Brock Lesnar in opening video packages a couple months ago, and Lesnar's recently been at UFC. I know of at least one UFC event, so. It was surprising to see, and I'll admit there was an initial shock, but after I was thinking about it more, I think this has been known for a couple months now, and maybe it hasn't just been known to the public. I don't know. So I don't know, man. I think it's more of a quick payday because if there is a new regime coming in, there was no one else. Conor McGregor's not on that card. They wanted, and listen, guys, I know people don't want to hear this because as much as I love him too, he's probably going to get demolished his first fight. But, CM Punk wanted to be on that card. And listen, if it's Brock at UFC 200 or Conor McGregor and CM Punk at UFC 202, my money's going to UFC 202 anyway. But, and this is coming from somebody that used to watch UFC and just doesn't anymore probably because of Dana White. I don't know. Like in hindsight now, maybe it is because of Dana White, but
man.
I don't know, Josh. I mean, do you think ultimately, especially with it being the reality era and so many fourth walls are broken, with kayfabe being dead, a lot of people's concern is, okay, what is this, going to do for the streak? If Brock gets knocked out, the streak, do we even really care about the essence of the streak, or is this just a marketing ploy anymore that some people are just still buying into?
Yeah, I think it's a mixture of, it's still real to me, damn it. Which is a weird dichotomy here because you're going to bitch about Brock Lesnar being made to look bad at a real fight over a scripted moment that happened 2 years ago. So that's that weird clash thing. And it goes back to reality here, like you said at the same time. Let me say this, though, because I've been waiting to say this for a long time since this is not a UC podcast. And I there's very few people that I loathe or hate, but Dana White is definitely on that list. This dude is the hypocrite of all hypocrites. I don't get how this guy gets off saying, wrestling is fake. This guy went on this soapbox last year when Punk came out, and he's like, wrestling is fake. But you go to Punk to get some seed for your product 2 years ago. Wrestling's fake. You have no draws for UFC 200 besides John Jones and Daniel Cormier. But, you need to go to the Brock Lesnar route to get everybody hooked for UFC 200 when the pay-per-view everybody's looking forward to is UFC 202. You can't tell me that wrestling is fake and there's no appeal to wrestling when you're bringing professional wrestling stars to save your pay-per-view buys.
And the funniest thing is that Dana White bringing in Brock Lesnar, I want everybody to know, to UFC purists, like diehard UFC fans that just like how we are with professional wrestling, sports entertainment guys, Brock Lesnar is their version of our Roman Reigns. So all the people that hate Roman Reigns out there, it's basically that Brock Lesnar's given this because he was in WWE and he was in this. I mean, that's the overall vibe that you get in UFC circles. There's a hatred for Brock Lesnar. And listen, I like when Lesnar crossed over. I liked seeing him knock the hell out of people. I liked seeing him, win the UFC heavyweight championship. And I would like to see him win at this UFC. It's just, I'm going to be honest, it's not a buy. Right now, it's not a buy for me. I was, my dad's a big UFC fan. So last time I was over to see him, I just kind of brought it up. We were talking about the dude he was fighting. I guess the dude he's fighting's got a pretty heavy hand, So, I mean, it wouldn't be surprising to see Brock get knocked out. But I just don't know if I personally care either way. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
At this point, it's not going to make me spend money. I'm going to wait to see, I'll admit I'm going to wait to see, but this is me being more of a Punk fan that hasn't bought a UFC pay-per-view in I don't know how many years, so knowing that Punk's fighting in a couple months, I'm just going to save my money.
And that's interesting there. I mean, if you're UFC and if you have general indifference because you want to see different fights and you want to see different guys in there, yeah, you got some buzz or whatever on social media over Brock Lesnar. And it's more because, Brock Lesnar was in WWE more than, Brock is making this return to UFC. You know what I mean? That's what I'm getting out of this whole thing. Everybody's more talking about the wrestling side and how it affects that more than it affects the UFC side of things. So, hey man, pick your hill to die on, I guess, Dana White. I think this is a publicity stunt, to be honest with you.
Absolutely. And you know what? It's they needed it. It's working. You know what I mean? UFC will get a lot more buys now because of it. Not that they haven't gotten the buys. I mean, UFC is doing fine. I don't know what's going on with the sale and why there's a possible regime change going on. I've been out of the UFC loop for a while, so I mean, maybe you guys can tell me about that. I don't know about that, but to me, it seems like there's just a lot of even now when they signed Punk, I thought, okay, pub stunt, but at least Punk was getting to live out his dream. Like that's why I never hated on Punk because listen, dude was getting to live out his dream, so let's tip our hats to him, Yeah. But this pulling Lesnar in like this, and especially throwing that kind of money at a guy who listen, he was ill his last couple fights, but they were how long ago, and he kind of got his face beat in, so I don't know, man, that's a lot of money. It's absolutely a pub stunt to try and get. It seems like desperation to me at this point. Absolutely. This would be like, in my opinion, this would be like Vince McMahon tossing $15 million at CM Punk for one night to come back. But the one thing I'll say that I think that this excites me a little bit is the potential or the possibility that they could do some sort of talent trades in the future, so that maybe we would get more than a Ronda Rousey at a WrestleMania or somebody else at SummerSlam or maybe McGregor for this, that, or the other thing, or different things like that. Yeah. If it opens that kind of door, I'm all for it. I do think this is a win-win for everybody involved. But just because it's a win-win for everybody involved just doesn't mean I have to personally like it. I mean, I just don't care.
Yeah. And yeah, it could be a win-win for fans, but is it going to be a good return of investment? We'll see. We'll see. But
it's a lot of money, man, for a night.
He's going to get a paycheck one way or another. I'm just saying, as far as entertainment, long-term investment, and just overall business in general. We'll see if it's good business or not. But either way, one last thing to close out this UFC thing, because like I said, this is not a UFC show, and this is probably the only time you'll see me and Adam spend this much time talking about UFC, unless it's Punk's debut.
I was going to say, yeah, come on, Punk's debut.
Speaking of Punk's debut, just really quick, there was a report about him actually going for UFC 2. That's not confirmed yet, but does this happen or no? This I'm just gonna cut to the chase. Does he fight or no? I need to know.
No, he doesn't. And I hate saying that. Everyone out there knows how much I love CM Punk and respect CM Punk, and it's. I just at this point I don't know. I don't know. Just like Josh a couple years ago. Whenever the second Bryan concussion happened, I was on your podcast. And you said, is Daniel Bryan, is he coming back? And I said, you know what? Until I see it, no. To me, he's done. He's never wrestling again. Until I actually see Punk walking down into the octagon that night, I'm not going to believe it. Until I'm paying my money for his fight. Which I'm going to buy. I'm not going to be a hypocrite. I am absolutely buying. And I don't care if he wins, loses, draws, whatever it is. I'm going to enjoy the hell out of every single dollar that I pay that night.
Don't care if Punkster gets mollywopped, but I'm in agreement with you, brother. I would pay for it too. Before we go into Raw, wanted to say really quick, really cool stuff on the WWE Network. If you haven't had a chance to go check it out yet, the Seth Rollins 24 special, redesign, rebuild, reclaim special. If you haven't seen it, please, by all means, go check it out. And secondly, they're doing something really cool with the network, which I was hoping they were doing last year, but they actually going the Netflix route now, where they have all episodes of season 2 of Swerve on the network now, so you can watch it. You could binge watch season 2 of Swerve right now on the network if you want to see that. I love season 1. I thought it was pretty funny. A little back behind the scenes story. At the Allstate Arena, or the Rosemont Horizon, as I call it, there's where they had the trucks and stuff and that big like ramp down at them, like where most people go in or whatever. That's not where the wrestlers usually go in. Actually, there's a tunnel that goes from under the ground that goes to the backstage area. So what the wrestlers have to do, they have to park in that parking lot, but they go across the street to another parking lot, go into the box office, which leads you to the tunnel. Anyways, there's an episode last year where they had, I think it was Bad News Barrett, locked out of the building. He's like, I don't know you, sir. I don't know you, sir. The security's like, I don't know you. Are you a WWE fan? Like, Barrett's asking, like, are you a WWE fan? And there's just a constant, like, back and forth of not letting this guy in the building. No, it was Rollins, actually. No, it was Rollins. It wasn't Barrett. There you go. Seth Rollins was trying to go in. It was the day of Extreme Rules, which is really funny because he was in the main event that night. He's like, I'm the man. I'm in the main event of the pay-per-view tonight. What the fuck's wrong with you? Let me in. just go check out that episode. I think you'll love it.
That's funny. And you know what? Another, if you guys haven't caught Talk is Jericho last week with Seth Rollins on there.
Oh, God, that was great.
Please go check it out. It was so good. Some really great stories, I thought. And I love the fact that they're so cognizant now that the podcasting world and these other shows they even do on the network, they can talk freely now about whatever they want to. I mean, like we said earlier, kayfabe is completely dead, and I think that's good because it's not insult. I'm sure there's a certain layer that they do still not they still keep from us guys, but I like that you get to hear these stories almost instantaneously now. About how what Bret Hart said kind of affected Rollins a little bit. And you don't hear about these things like 15 years later. You hear them in the moment, and it's kind of not to cause any bullshit or drama or anything like that, guys, but it's just one of those where it's not 10 years later, so people don't go, oh, well, he's just saying that now to get publicity. It's in the moment. It's real. You understand Seth Rollins a lot more. I don't know. I totally dug it. Totally dug it. And he tells a story about LASIK, and it's absolutely true. It's the life changer. It really is.
It's to add on to your point there, like not only kayfabe said, but I think like we said a couple weeks ago, it's time to get out of that bubble of what you think wrestling is supposed to be, especially coming out of that Ricochet Ospreay match a few weeks ago. It's time to get out of the bubble, peeps. It's time to move on. This is not your 1970s or 80s Mid-South wrestling with the Rat Pack versus the Junkyard Dog and stuff. It's not your AWA Super Clash events. It's not the Clash of Champions. Pro wrestling is outdated in a way, and a lot of what you see today is sports entertainment. A lot of people ask me, why don't I judge WWE like I would judge a TNA or New Japan or Ring of Honor? Because WWE is not a pro wrestling company. So why am I going to judge a sports entertainment company by a pro wrestling 101 playbook? You know what I mean? I know what I'm watching, and it's kind of odd for me. Like, for me, when I started watching wrestling towards the end of the Attitude Era, they've always said it was sports entertainment. So that's all I heard. It was sports entertainment. And then, like, literally, like, my 5th year of being a wrestling fan, they changed the name to WWE. So it all kind of came sense there. And then like this, like I think you guys need to like scale back and try to realize what you're analyzing, because if you're gonna go with the one-on-one playbook of pro wrestling towards WWE, you're already in a lose-lose situation. You really are. I mean, WWE is not a pro wrestling company. It hasn't been for over 2 decades, and I think a lot of people are behind the times, to be honest with you. Okay, there's gray area guys. gray area sells in today's marketplace. Hell, look at Captain America. Look at Deadpool. Look at all the great movies. Look at Suicide Squad. That movie's going to be a shitload of gray area, guys. So all these great movies that you see now that draw people in are filled with gray area, guys. So I just think you need to get out of the bubble.
Well, and it's more real. Well, first off, listen, congrats to Will Ospreay for winning the Super J Championship. That is a huge tourney, guys. That's one where Pegasus Kid, and Chris Jericho wrestled years ago. I mean, this is a very, very big tournament. So congrats to Ospreay. That's a huge feather in his cap. And guys, don't think that this is like a one-hit wonder for this dude. We're going to be seeing a lot more of him in the future. So just kind of keep an eye on him. It's basically, if nothing else came from this, all the controversy, that, I think this absolutely did more for Ricochet and Will Ospreay's career than just the match itself, But I don't know, man. I think it's right now. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of great characters, but like you said, Josh, it's just different because whether it's good or bad, I mean, hell, we just found out Captain America's working for Hydra. So I mean, and there's 3 Jokers. Like all the world is just seems flip flopped upside down. We have a steak salesman running for president and a woman that only owns pantsuits. So it's crazy right now what's going on. I just have to tie it in, guys, because it's pop culture. It's not because it's political. It's pop culture right now. It's all anyone's talking about. So it's better than talking about a gorilla and a kid. Okay. So, but man, it's I think it's refreshing that we're seeing a lot that what we're considering gray area characters. But at the same time, I think if we look at not a lot of us would see Kevin Owens as like a gray area. We just see him as a badass. We don't see,
characters that make you think. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Characters that make you think.
Exactly. And it's because there is, in today's society, we've become so volatile that they're like the goody two-shoes good guy does not work. It just doesn't. And I think that's why now, not only with all the, if you look at comic book movies and like you said, with your comparisons from show to shows, let's look at just the different comic book show, themed shows that are on TV. You have some on the CW, some on Fox, some on AMC. You can't expect the same things from the shows on the CW. I mean, you have lower expectations. So you let the shows on the CW get away with a little more because it's like, all right, whatever. This is the CW, so it is what it is, but you would be overly critical if it happened on The Walking Dead because you expect excellence out of The Walking Dead. It's being a Gotham fan because it's on Fox, you expect it, a little bit more perfection on a Fox show because it's, national TV, versus, so it's one of the big 3, whatever. You guys know what I'm talking about. But Josh, I think that I'm using that comparison because to your point, it is, you can't put you can't compare WWE to Ring of Honor or New Japan Pro to NXT these comparisons have to stop.
Yeah, and not only the comparisons to the shows, but comparisons to other wrestlers. If I hear one more person say, "Oh, Dean Ambrose is the next Stone Cold Steve Austin," I'm literally about to fling this remote at my TV screen right now. Enough with the comparisons to other wrestlers. Please stop. I get why you do it, but it's not helping those guys. Trust me, it's not. I'd rather have the first Roman Reigns that everybody like, oh, he's the next John Cena. Yeah, okay. Is he the handpicked guy? Absolutely. Okay, so that makes him John Cena. Oh, Roman Reigns gets the push. Oh, that makes him John Cena. No, yeah, just like The Rock. Just like The Rock was the chosen guy, but he's John Cena. Like, enough of these comparisons.
You know what? Well, here's the one way that I'll say that I see the comparisons, and I do agree with. I think some people sometimes get carried away with them. But I make comparisons all the time, and the only reason why I do is, like Triple H said, it's Shakespearean theater, right? So when one character if somebody's ran his course playing a certain character, you have to replace that cog in the wheel, and it's the same character. You just need somebody new to play that role. Yeah. And yeah, there's little differences. So I think to a point, I think it's when they say John Cena, I think they mean his spot. Just like I always use Hogan as the example because it was from my I think people get carried away with comparisons, though, because when I say it, usually mean like the kind of character or the spot on the card. But I get where people and you know, in a way, a lot of times, listen, wrestlers don't help themselves because just like we talked about before, Josh, if I ever was, you know, if I ever maybe lifted a weight or something, you know, if I was ever a wrestler or whatever, you know, there'd be my moveset would be very reflective of a lot of my favorite wrestlers. I would want to pay homage to certain people. So, you know, you would see certain things in me from inspired by like Chris Jericho, CM Punk, Kurt Hennig. I mean, you know, it's some of the people that I always pull out of. You would hear a lot of Bobby Heenan in a lot of my promos. So it would be, you know, so I sometimes you can't help the comparisons, but I do think they're overused.
Yeah, I just think it's overdone with a lot of things when it comes to wrestling. Let's go to a positive note. Let me ask you first. What was your thoughts on Raw this past week? Because I got an interesting backstory that people don't know about my Raw viewing experience this week. So go ahead, brother. What was your thoughts on the show this past week?
Yo, both of us had a crazy Raw week. So I watched it late because the Penguins played Monday night, and of course, Penguins won. We went up. You know, we're up 3-1, I think, and I think they call it the Stanley Cup Final. I'm not sure. Yes. I think it's called the Stanley Cup Final, though. I think we just need to win one more game, and we win a big trophy of some sort. I don't know. I guess maybe we'll find out tomorrow night. But so long story short, you know, after the Penguins game, I had some quick work to do, you know, before Sam and I were going to start watching Raw. And after you know, blah, 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 long story short, in the string of bad luck that is what's going on right now in the Daley family, our computer just completely blows up on us. And we're like, oh, God, here we go. Fortunately, my boss was kind enough to you know, kind of get us a new laptop because my wife and I both work from home. So I didn't get to watch Raw till last night because we just watched it on the computer. And I liked it, man. I mean, you know, and again, it's one of those that it was maybe I started watching around like 7:00, fast forward through commercials, you know, so I wrapped it up by around 9:00 maybe. I mean, I was already done with Raw. West Coast, I mean, you guys got it made. That's a decent little deal right there. You know what I mean? Like, I'd be done with Raw. Like, yes, hell, I still got most of the night to do whatever I want. But you know what? I enjoyed it. I wrote a couple things down that I want to talk about later on, just different things. But I did. I thought it was a decent show. I enjoyed it.
It's interesting you brought up the West Coast because in one of the great genes I get from my family is the art of hustling. I think for those that tune into the pro wrestling experience back in the day, you'll understand what the hustle I had with some of the guests I've had on the show back then during my old ChicagoLandSportsRadio.com days. But I went out there with San Jose. I went out to San Jose to cover WrestleMania. I was 20 years old. It's my first time going out of the state by myself with no parents, no high school people checking out with me. Because in high school, you know, I played a lot of jazz festivals and we went to Boston. So we had like teachers and whatever you would call it that would watch over you. But this is my first time going out to a city by myself. So I have $500 with me. I'm there for 4 days. I got there Friday night. So I missed the NXT show. Saturday, I go down there to do media. I was there for Saturday to take photos. Got my press credential at the age of 20 at Mania. Showed my thing. Got there, all that good stuff. I went to hang out with a friend of mine that lives in Chicago that was at the event at WrestleMania, and we just chilled. We went to this burger joint that was really good. That was across the street from the WWE hotel, and he's like, "Oh, I'm going to the Hall of Fame. Hey, Josh, you got a ticket?" I was like, "No." They're like $300 on StubHub and all that, right? And he's like, "Hey, man, let me drive you to the Shark Tank." Like, now here's the cool thing about San Jose. I got day passes really cheap for like $3. So day passes for in San Jose is $3. So hey, that saves a lot of money. I can get stuff on the side. I don't have to worry about being cheap or whatever. So he's like, "Hey, let me drive you to the arena, see if maybe get something at the door, right?" All right. So he drives me to the Shark Tank. That's where the Stanley Cup was the other night, and I go to the door. This is literally an hour and a half before the doors open for the Hall of Fame going on and all that stuff. And, I wasn't that crazy about that Hall of Fame class that year. But, seeing Macho Man go in there, I think that would have been pretty cool. The Connor thing, I thought that was great. And seeing Kevin Nash go in, I think that was cool as well. But I wasn't crazy about that Hall of Fame class. And I was like, you know what? If it's under like 30 or like maybe 40, maybe I'll try to get a ticket or something. And so I go to the door and they said there's a upper deck seat, first row for $25. I snagged it like this. $25, an hour and a half before the doors open at the Hall of Fame. And guess what? I looked online later for Hall of Fame tickets before the show went on there on StubHub, Adam. It was $300 just to sit up top at the Hall of Fame thing online. If that's not a ripoff, I do not know what is.
Yeah, man, we never went to a Hall of Fame. It's one of those where we never pay for access, never pay for Hall of Fame, because it's, like we always said, we go to Mania to hang out with like our friends, and it's Mania and Raw is just like the tip of the iceberg. It's the wrestling is the reason we're there, but it's like it's the exact same reason why we need to go to Comic-Con one year. I need to go to 311 Day one year. Like there's so many. Soon the WrestleMania trips I think are going to end because we need to hit up so many other different festivals and days that we have. We've always skipped because WrestleMania has always been the one vacation we try to take every year. But yeah, I'm not paying for Hall of Fame tickets when that's $300, brother. That's bigger. If that was Sam and I each at $600. That's like spending money for us on an entire trip total. Yeah. That's like what we have expensive. Okay, we might have that much money to spend on the side. So nah.
Well, and here's the thing: like I had my pass, so I wasn't concerned if I wouldn't have enough money. So I would find a way to go back to the hotel or whatever. So I go there, got the $25. All right, cool deal. Monday. Now here's the cool thing. Monday. You said West Coast got a great deal. Absolutely, they do. I went downtown to check out a show they did live, busted open live in downtown San Jose. They recap Mania and all that good stuff. I watched the box office again to see if there was any Raw tickets. Lower level, not ringside, but lower level, $15. Snagged for Raw that night. The Raw at the WrestleMania. So all this, Raw is sold out at WrestleMania. Guys, if you're out there, go to the box office. They do open tickets. Take advantage of the opportunities that are in front of you. Trust me, you don't need to spend an arm and a leg for tickets on these ridiculous websites. I'm sorry if that offends anybody, whatever. But oh well. But hey, look at that. I got to go to the Raw. The show ended at 7:00 at night, and I still got a chance to do whatever I want. And Raw was just airing. Because here's the thing with the West Coast, they don't air Raw till after it's done recording live in California. They don't air it live at 5:00. That's right. The really odd thing.
Yeah, I mean it's because they want to keep that primetime slot for the West Coast. So that way, because it's all about those fictitious Nielsen ratings in the primetime slot.
Oh yeah.
I honestly think that's the only reason. Otherwise, why wouldn't you I would want Raw live across the world all the time, just so that way, again, the more social media interaction you get, the more, I don't know. But again, you have people like us that just DVR and stay off social media anyway. So I guess it doesn't really make a difference.
And it's like, oh yeah, let me hang on my Nielsen rating that I'm going to live and die my business on. Give me a break. Enough of the Nielsen crap. Anyways, going back to Raw, there was a fire a block away from my house, and it spewed all over the block. The power went out, the TV went out, the internet went out. Monday night. This is like an hour and a half before the show started, and I was really excited for the show. I had a good vibe. I was like, okay, I'm ready to watch the show. I did a little preview of Raw that you guys see here on the YouTube channel. Make sure to like and subscribe. Little shameless pandering right there, if you guys missed that video. But I did that. I got to catch a little bit of warm up with Adam was on with Matt the other day, which was really good. By the way, you guys go check that out as well. But I was like, okay, here we go. I'm excited for Raw. Let's see what they do. Now, here we go again. Like I was saying last week, it's an in-between show. So if you're expecting to go home show and the in-between show during a 5-week build to pay-per-view, you are out of your mind. So my expectations weren't that high, but I was like, God damn, like really, you're gonna cut the power out now? God damn fire, Mother Nature. I don't know what happened. They didn't say if somebody was shooting. I don't know. Maybe somebody's house got on fire. I don't know. But it got pretty bad. So I missed the first hour and a half of the show. I look on Twitter, and I made a promise that I didn't want to be on Twitter because, like you, like I want to watch the show for what it is. Just sitting here watching the show, and then I'll judge after. And I saw on Twitter, they're like, oh, they had this funny segment with Jericho and Owens, and I was like, oh, I was pissed. I turned my phone off until the thing came back on, and then I watched the other half of the show, and then I watched the rest of it on YouTube. And you know what? Like, let's go to that first segment first because there was some flack towards it, and I don't know why. Maybe because people take themselves too seriously these days, but maybe it's just me. But I was crying laughing during that first segment with everybody on the ladders. Now I can understand if you're saying, "Oh, it's stupid. Why do you have guys talking on ladders?" But did he not pay attention to the references Kevin Owens made during that thing?
Wait. So there was people that really didn't like that opening segment, that opening promo.
Taz.
Well, I mean, listen, I respect his opinion, but I thought it was.
No, there's a lot of other people.
I thought it was awesome. I thought it was. I actually kind of felt bad because we just got done. We were setting all this stuff up. I put this, my wife just woke up from like a nap. She was all stressed out all day, and I just turned Raw on, and she's trying to talk to me, and I was just not paying attention whatsoever. Which, guys, that's not a good thing. By the way, I'd like to point out to any gentlemen that aren't married out there. You always want to kind of pay attention to your wife, or else you might end up with a right hand like pimp slap, like baby powder, like in from what Friday or whatever.
Yeah.
Or maybe I think I was doing How High. I think baby powder might be How High, but no, man, I thought that opening segment, dude, I was hanging on word for word. I thought it was great, I got the point of it. It was supposed to be ridiculous, and like you said, the two names I wrote down were Owens and Jericho. I thought Owens was so on point. I thought he was like commanding that entire promo, and just the little nuances that Jericho's doing right now, just playing off of everything that fans are doing. Like the gift of Jericho started as a meme, and now he's just drink it in, man. Like everything is so great that Jericho is doing. I'm going to cry real man tears when this run is over, because this has been the best and most entertaining he's been in so long. I actually wrote, that was one of the first things I wanted to talk about. I thought it was great, man. I don't know. So, I mean, what did you think?
I loved it. Seeing Owens start off with the Jean-Pierre Lafitte, the Waylon Mercy references, I thought that was great. I don't care who it is. And Ambrose is like, oh, great, you're confident. We get it. I thought Ambrose was pretty funny during that thing, too.
I thought they were all playing off one another very well.
Absolutely.
And to have 6 guys do that in today's sports entertainment, when you have all these writers writing for you, and when you have talent a lot of times that, new talent that you maybe have never really competed with, these 6 guys, I thought the chemistry was I thought it was insane. Listen, even with Cesaro, I'm not as high on Cesaro as everybody else is right now, because I think he does need some he's not clicking with me on the mic, but that's just me personally. It is what it is. But I think even still that brought out the best in him. I thought it was a home run for them. I don't know.
Yeah. And I'm not gonna be that guy, but like it's kind of cool seeing Cesaro bring up the fact, like, hey, Jericho, you're not. You say you're the master of the Money in the Bank match, yet you never won one. And then Jericho goes on and say, yeah, I won one. And Sami Zayn's like, where? New York?
He's like, the first 6.
He said, I won it in stupid Idiotville. Does it matter?
And the only thing I wanted Cesaro to speak in 5 different languages, and they teased it.
Oh,
I wanted 5 different languages so bad. So bad I wanted it.
Yeah, I remember he was like, you're not the only person that can speak Spanish. and then he's like, Cesaro's like, I guess you want it in your hometown, right? because he said stupid Idiotville, and Jericho's like, "I'm from Winnipeg, you idiot," and then I just cried live.
Perfect. And
Perfect.
Josh, I think this was another one where if I would have known New Orleans was where Raw is going to be in New Orleans next week, I would have been more aware and realized, okay, Bray's coming back next week, especially with that tweet that he put out. But do you think part of the reason why they were all up on ladders was to give that illusion of, hey, what if this is when Bray comes back?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And remember, Roman was on the ladder right before he was going to grab it, and that's when Bray came back. Anybody but you, Roman. And I think that was good symbolism, not only for that, but also I think they did a good job camera-wise of showing the briefcase even while the guys were talking towards each other. And yeah, was there comedy there? Absolutely. But they also talked about the importance that it's for all 6 of those guys winning that match. Now, here's the thing. I'll tie this in for the first segment before we move on. I did appreciate that it was a different start to Raw. It wasn't Stephanie or whatever starting off the show. I thought it was a really smart choice to have those guys start off the show, actually, to be honest with you. But I'll ask you this. Give me 3 guys you think are favorite or should be the most – just basically who should win this Money in the Bank match coming up next Sunday. Just 3 guys.
Oh, top 3? Okay, Kevin Owens, Bray Wyatt, Chris Jericho.
Bray Wyatt? Okay.
Yeah. And the only reason why I'm putting Jericho in there, guys, before anybody says it's a homer pick, it's because in a fantasy booking manner, in the creative mind that I have spinning, with it being the new era, the reality era, I think it would be somewhat brilliant to have Chris Jericho win Money in the Bank and then leave and go on tour. Him still have the briefcase, and people would get so upset about it, but that's all is fair in love in the briefcase, right? You have it for a year, and then when he comes back, and and whenever he were to make his return, it would be so impactful. The pop, as soon as you'd hear his music, you'd think, oh, he's going to cash in, and I don't know. I think there's something to that where in the future it wouldn't be a bad idea. We were talking, Matt McCool and I were talking the other night, like maybe you write somebody off TV for a while and, then I think it becomes somewhat, but I don't know. I think that's something that we've never seen from Money in the Bank it would be a really fun thing. It would drive people insane, but it would be fun to watch that reaction.
But think about this, brother. Look at you got Miz, who's shooting scenes from his movie set in Marine 5 with the IC title. To picture Jericho at a download festival seeing lights go out with the Money to briefcase on his hand.
Exactly. And the different ways they'd be able to market. I mean, he could just randomly show up at a show. It's, I just take it with me everywhere I go just in case. And meanwhile, he really doesn't. It's just like every once in a while he'll bring it out. But I think it would be fun, and maybe that's just me and my twisted fantasy booking mind. I think that would be fun, but I guess that's why my top 3 would be Owens, Wyatt, and then Jericho. But what about you, Josh?
I'm gonna do a different scenario for Bray Wyatt, but I'll save it for our previous show next week. I'll save it because I got an interesting scenario for Bray, and I don't think he's winning the Money in the Bank match, even though I think it would be pretty cool if he did win it. Here's the thing a lot of people don't realize with this whole instant gratification era we're in now where everything has happened now. I think some people forget the fact that a lot of these guys are going to be in the company for a lot of years. It's not like their career is ending next year or by WrestleMania. So Kevin Owens could have a gazillion opportunities at winning a Money in the Bank briefcase. Same thing goes for Zayn or Cesaro or whatever. But I'll give you 3. I'll go with Ambrose 1, Owens 2, and Jericho 3. I think I'll say Ambrose because here's the thing. Owens has the Sami Zayn feud in the back of his pocket. He can have that for a SummerSlam program. What does Dean Ambrose have if he loses this match? Another Bray Wyatt feud? What's to Dean Ambrose if he doesn't have that briefcase, especially with Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins going against each other for the WWE World title right now? I know people are going to disagree with me, and everybody's like, Kevin Owens must win, or it's a crime, it's a sin, Michael. But I honestly feel that Ambrose needs this briefcase more than anybody. And here's this could lead to an opportunity where he has that character change everybody's been waiting for him to have. I think everybody talking about Roman Reigns needs to be healed. Dean Ambrose needs to be healed more than anybody on that roster right now. I honestly feel if Ambrose does not win this match, honestly, he's just another guy. Before you know it, he would be on kickoff matches before he's in the IC or US title feud. There's nothing to Dean Ambrose if he doesn't win this match. I get it. It'd be cool to see Kevin Owens have the briefcase or Jericho, but I honestly feel that he needs it more than anybody else right now.
Let me ask this question, Josh, just to play devil's advocate.
Okay.
Do you think it's dangerous, though, because then you're using the briefcase to make the man, not the man making the briefcase? Like, for example, Seth Rollins made the briefcase more important in reality than it felt like it did. Edge did. CM Punk did. There's guys that did. Even RVD and Cena, to their credit, because they set the matches up prior, they added, something a little extra. And with Ambrose being would he work better heel, or is he better, like we always compare him to the WWE's version of the Joker, where he's not good or bad. He's kind of just that chaotic force that brings stability to everything because he is so chaotic. And I know that sounds crazy, but listen, Joker was just as insane fighting other people as he did Batman. He was just about creating chaos for everybody. So I feel like Dean Ambrose will be better utilized that way. But
yeah.
And I guess to follow up, so one, would that concern you that they'd be using the briefcase then to make Dean Ambrose? And two, then can we almost pencil in Seth Rollins to win the Royal Rumble and set up the triple threat at WrestleMania?
Well, now here's the thing: you got two scenarios there. Ambrose could cash in his briefcase for a match at SummerSlam and have that Shield triple threat there, or you could have this whole the Shield rivalry go from SummerSlam all the way to Mania next year if you could do it right. I honestly feel you could do that. It'd be historic. Never in wrestling history you've had a three-way feud go from a SummerSlam all the way to WrestleMania. I think these guys could do it because these guys have so much history with each other. I really do. I don't want to rush into a Shield versus the Club match. You don't need to do the Shield versus the New Day or the Shield versus the Wife family again. But here's the thing. I agree with your second point there. I do think if he was the WWE's version of Joker, I think that would serve his purpose well. Like, let's say like Reigns and Rollins were fighting each other, and Ambrose just came at the end of the pay-per-view and snagged the title from Roman or something, right? Just the end of the pay-per-view, and then he just runs away. He doesn't do anything, and maybe you could do it like that.
Even something so simplistic as he comes out and he takes out both of them and said, you know what, this has been really, really cute these past couple of weeks. It's been really inspiring. We both coming from the Shield, the brothers, and I'm the odd man out. Because, I don't know, and we'll talk about the Rollins and Reigns, I guess, vignettes later on, but did you notice that Roman Reigns did say, he has no brothers, he has no this, he has no... Well, wait a minute. Him and Ambrose were like it was like Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly and Step Brothers before WrestleMania. They were like, did we just become best friends? And then like now all of a sudden like they don't even know each other like in one like instantly after Mania. So I don't know. I think that would be
what happened to National Best Friend Day?
National Best Friend Day. But I don't know. I think that's just that in a way. Ambrose is being completely left out of this storyline, even when they're talking about the Shield. So that's a way they could catapult him in as, again, another gray area character that is more like since you guys are having this love fest, I thought maybe I needed to insert myself. And I don't think that's going to happen yet, guys. But I would almost rather see that, Josh, rather than him winning Money in the Bank, though, because I think my theory about Money in the Bank would be I think it would be better for Kevin Owens to win Money in the Bank and lose the cash in. But that's for when Money in the Bank, we talk Money in the Bank stuff.
Absolutely. We'll say that later on. But going back to our Raw thing, this may be a good idea for me to do in the future because I breezed through Raw as well because I didn't get to catch the whole show live. You guys don't understand how much more enjoyable the Raw show actually is without commercials. USA Network averages around 4 minutes and 30 seconds per commercial. more time or not, most of Raw is dominated by commercials more than the in-ring action it is itself. And people don't pay attention to that stuff. I think that's one of the reasons why you have low ratings, because people have ADD. Nobody wants to sit through a 4-minute and a half commercial break when you have an interesting match going on. So I enjoyed it. I thought, like Adam said, I thought it was a decent episode. I did say in my preview that you would have Cesaro and Jericho, Zayn and Del Rio, and Owens and Ambrose. So I'll give it a little creative booking, fancy booking tip of the hat on my end. But I thought those matches were really good. I thought it was good to get Del Rio win, because everybody's like, oh, he's just the odd man out. So, yeah, Sami Zayn lost, but I thought Del Rio needed that victory. So, what was your thought on that scenario, Adam?
Let's face it, guys. And I know people don't like hearing this, but this is another case of Sami Zayn is better when he loses. It's better for his character when he loses, because he's that underdog. Sami, and again, people look too deep into wins and losses, but this one, as far as Sami Zayn goes, because it was like, oh, Sami Zayn's getting buried. No, you hit it on the head. They had to show that Del Rio was going to be a major player, even though he did win Money in the Bank prior, but he's kind of the one people are taking the least serious.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think there are people taking him less seriously than people assume that people are taking Ambrose less seriously now these days.
Dude, what if ADR came home with that briefcase and they actually made him and Paige an on-screen thing? Oh, it would be so great. It would be so great.
Anything for heel purposes is best for business, period.
It would make so many people so sick. It would be so great. Oh, the reactions, Maggle, the reactions.
One of the Hardcore Dreams' last dream girls since AJ left. Now she's with Del Rio, and like, no, I want Owens to have the briefcase, not Del Rio, man.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, that's great. I'll give you that, brother. That was great. If I had money, I would give it to you.
Yeah, right.
Oh man. Also, I thought the Cesaro Jericho match was really good. Pretty cool. Jericho was able to tap out, Cesaro got a nice victory on Raw. That was cool. I thought it was cool that they were having clean finishes instead of just random shenanigans, just to have DQs just for whatever. I thought it was good to have the Derek Young Bob Backlund vignette on Raw. I don't care what you guys say to me. You can agree or disagree with me. I love those vignettes with those guys. I'm all in for Darren Young and Bob Backlund. Make Darren Young great again, and add him on to this Titus O'Neil and Rusev feud. Why not?
Yes, please make it for the United States Championship eventually. Then they're probably saving it till around the election for that. I mean,
absolutely.
They're milking this, and they're gonna make Darren Young great again around October, November. Yep.
Looking, brother. It's something out of the box. Why not? I love it. They show new ones on SmackDown each week. By the way, if you guys missed SmackDown last week, you missed a really good show. I was listening to this show, the radio show the other day. They're like, oh, this so-called women's revolution, but they're so bottled down in random storylines. You guys are missing out on the great action these women are having on SmackDown each week. Hell, Charlotte and Becky had a badass match last week. I mean, guys, check out SmackDown. There's a lot of things that helps out with these storylines that go down on that show that you rather see on Raw. I say it all the time. Raw is a corporate telethon for the WWE Network. That's what it is. It's a 3-hour telethon. We're going to give you a sample of what our product is and what we're selling for the next month. You rather like it or not and purchase a subscription. That's the business model today. And I feel people, if you want that wrestling stuff, you got to check out SmackDown.
And you know what, Josh? I think that's why I haven't been as cynical as a lot of people about the brand split, because I do think SmackDown's been a really good show. And it has showcased a lot more of the mid-card. It's showcased a lot more storylines, matches. And I think it's I know people aren't going to like the fact that you're going to have to watch 2 shows, but I'd rather watch 2 shows that I'm invested in than, half-ass watch one show and one show only catch where people aren't watching. The better right now, the better of the two shows is SmackDown anyway, I think.
Yeah.
And, most people aren't watching it anyway. So I think that, I don't know, maybe that's why I'm actually looking forward to the brand split, because I do think that the talent pool is there.
The brand split's going to help the reality go to the next level, in my opinion. I can speak from my experience with the work I do with WrestleZone. I can't wait for July 19th, because anything to get me away from covering TNA Impact Wrestling on Tuesday nights, it's a lifesaver for me. Trust me.
Wait a minute. Does that mean Battlegrounds on July 17th? Right?
Yep.
Does that mean Battlegrounds on July 17th?
Yep.
As Dave Meltzer would say, CM Punk return imminent. No, I'm joking. Here comes the hate mail.
It's in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, right. Oh, yeah, here we go.
Oh, man. Anyways, I'm looking forward to covering SmackDown. I kind of, here's something a lot of people don't know about me. When I was with Between the Ropes, I got to cover Raw back then. And that was a lot of fun. This is like the 2014 era of Raw, where Daniel Bryan was having that run and then CM Punk left. A little funny story. The first play-by-play article I ever did in wrestling was the night CM Punk left WWE. It was the night after the Rumble. I was so excited to get this. Here we go. We're on the road to WrestleMania 30. Then, my favorite wrestler is out. The first night I'm doing the play-by-play articles. This is 2 years ago. And I miss covering Raw. I really do. It helped me to avoid dealing with Nimrods. I could watch the show and cover it in depth. Hey, maybe some people can't handle 3 hours, but if I could do something I love doing, which is those play-by-play articles, and do that was a lot of fun. But I'm going to have a lot of fun with SmackDown when this split does happen. So it's a win-win.
And you know what, Josh? I think that people, too, sometimes got to kind of pay attention to what they say, because, 3 hours for Raw does seem long. But that's because there's 45 to 50 minutes of commercials. There's
Correct.
Maybe 20 minutes of video packages. But you never hear us say that 3 hours is too long for a pay-per-view.
Oh, yeah.
And all we hear, though, is what feels like Sunday Night Raw. Well, but you're not complaining about. Notice nobody ever complains about the time frame when it's a consistent show without breaks, without interruptions, where it feels like I just think that the Raw over 3 hours that's why I do, and that's honestly, guys, the key reason why we don't watch live anymore, is because it does feel like a more satisfying show when you can breeze through it, and realistically in about 2 hours tops max. If it takes me 2 hours to watch Raw, it was a solid Raw.
Absolutely. What other notes on Raw that you had? You said you had some notes on Raw you wanted to touch on. You want to talk about the vignettes? You want to talk about the Raw?
The Raw and vignettes I wanted to talk about, just because I have an interesting theory. But I'm going to get your opinion on them first.
Okay. I thought both of them were good. They said what they needed to say. I put a post on Facebook the other day saying that I agree with you said on the Pipebomb with McCool and Company last week, where you said that, hey, Rollins just doesn't have to talk the rest of the time. He doesn't even have to be on screen until Money in the Bank. He could go full Jericho mode like he did when the whole best in the world stuff started. The end of the world, actually. I can't say best world because he was saying that before that. But I thought it was cool. It was something different. I thought it was really good. Now, here's the thing. I kind of hope that they did a Michael Cole interview on Raw with Roman Reigns in the backstage area like they do on WWE.com. You guys, I shared a lot of those interviews on the podcast when I was doing the old radio show, because that's your character development. And I think that was a missed opportunity there. I'm not saying I didn't like Reigns' vignette, because I did. What he said was fine. It worked with the storyline. I thought Ron's stuff was good. Even though I kind of, just from a business point of view, I don't think it was good to air a lot of the key part from that 24 special on it. I get it. You were showing the surgery stuff, but I don't know. I don't know. You're a heel, but you're showing a lot of that stuff from the 24th special that's making them look like a good guy. But I thought both of those vignettes were fine. I didn't have a problem with it. I give them credit for doing something out of the box, and none of them were in the building, so I didn't have a problem with it.
I thought that, you know what, talking about like what we were talking about on the pipe bomb last week, you know, I understand why a lot of people didn't like last week's Rollins segment, you know, with him not talking or whatever. But, you know, it goes back to, I keep saying that if you have Seth Rollins come out with a microphone, he's going to get cheered. And they really want to, this is what this felt like to me. Watching this felt like 2 vignettes leading into a UFC fight. And that's what they want. That's what they want. This was so that right now they understand that people are going to be Seth Rollins fans, regardless of what they do, no matter what he says. It doesn't matter how grimy of a heel he is or how clean of a babyface he is. Seth Rollins has an absolute fan base that is not going to leave him. And there is an absolute fan base that right now, regardless of what Roman Reigns does, they are going to boo him. And they understand that. What this did was protect both talents and both characters. And I'm not saying that they need protected, but what this did was so that we didn't have boos where we're supposed to have cheers and cheers where we're supposed to have boos. They cut 2 compelling vignettes, which I thought both were well done. I thought that absolutely it made Seth Rollins look somewhat more babyfacious, but again, gray area, you know, gray character area that they're painting a lot of like the main event guys with now.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, I think people are forgetting that a Triple H feud is on the horizon very soon, you know, and they're just delaying. They're trying to delay this Seth Rollins face pop as long as possible. And they know they're not going to, and I would imagine they're probably going to have a contract signing next week on Raw, or maybe we have like a sit down in ring interview with them next week on Raw or something. And that's when it finally gets physical or whatever. But I think this was a brilliant way for the second straight week to make sure that the crowd, that your casual fans aren't really able to latch on to Rollins, because the casual fans were dying for Rollins to come back. You don't want them to cheer for him right now. I thought it was and I know people didn't like it, but I really, really dug the vignette though. So in a way, like I will take a week without Rollins on camera for that kind of vignette. Roman Reigns one, I didn't, you know, again, it did exactly what it was supposed to. It kind of pissed me off because I don't like the Roman Reigns character, right? But that's, again, what this is all about. It's about which character do you like better. It's not about heels and it's not about heels and baby faces with this anymore, guys. These are this is it like 2 UFC fighters going at it, and you know, not to kind of keep bringing it in, but watch any UFC preview show. These are the kind of promos that you see. I would expect to see more of this going forward for all of their big fights, because it does. Again, this is the new era. They want us to buy into these characters, not as baby faces, not as heels. They want you to buy the characters that they are.
Mm-hmm. And this is a prize fight in a way. They said it right after the bat. This is a WrestleMania worthy match. And let me ask you this, and we could we'll get into the AJ Cena stuff after this, because I love that segment. We'll get into that in a couple minutes. But do you think that they're going this route with Reigns and Rollins and just tying in the whole pay-per-view with this build, like the big fight feel and these mania-worthy matches? Do you think they're doing that right now because that Money in the Bank pay-per-view is in Vegas and UFC 200 is in the same arena in Vegas that they're performing at Money in the Bank?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure that's part of it. That's part of it. I would, and I don't know this for sure, anybody, you know, obviously, but I would think that coming back from that serious of an injury, I think this is a very smart way to keep Seth Rollins away from any physical. You don't, again, you want to protect the injury. You want to protect your investment. You want to, you know, potentially knock any ring rust off, not on camera. So this is doing a good job of, you know, Seth Rollins came back, but if you think about it, he's really not competing so he came back in 6, but he's competing in 7. See, it's that sleight of hand, smoke and mirrors way of they can do it. You know, I think that it's just been a win-win. I think, you know, I know a lot of people want to see more out of Rollins right now, but that's why you keep watching, right? I mean, I think it's given it that big fight feel. And Josh, that's a good point about UFC, because WWE likes to beat. Listen, it's why certain cities get WrestleMania. They want to get in there before the Super Bowl. With all these new stadiums and everything. So if it's the same thing with the T-Mobile Arena, I think how comically I think that is. I think that it pretty much ties in with the same thing, man. They know UFC is going to be there very soon, and this gives it that enormous fight feel. It really does. I mean, in our world, this is bigger than anything that's happening on UFC 200's card for people that are UFC diehards.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I feel like, going back to the T-Mobile Arena stuff, there's so many bad arena names now. It's god-awful. I could go to Camping World Stadium. Oh, hey, Justin. Sorry, buddy. Shout out to my buddy Justin Hill who's in Florida. I'm sorry you had to deal with that. Well, I can't say you're dealing with that because I'll be in Florida next year for Mania. So, yeah, let's 10 out and have some s'mores at WrestleMania at Camping World Stadium.
I'm so hurt that I have to go to Florida next year. I have a personal, there's a couple states that I personally have crossed off my list for a little while until they start to act right. In Florida, I'm breaking a personal rule going to Florida for WrestleMania next year. I'm not feeling good about it.
And then you got Little Caesars Arena that's replacing the Joel Lewis Arena, which I think is terrible. And Little Caesars Arena. Yeah, let's have breadsticks. No, Crazy Bread night. Nothing wrong with Crazy Bread, I guess. Well, whatever. Let's talk about something that was not Crazy Bread, but does taste as good as Crazy Bread. Was the John Cena AJ Styles segment this past Monday night on Raw? Good brother, I'll start with you. What was your thoughts on it?
My thoughts are, I don't know how it tastes, although that was an interesting analogy. Maybe sweaty and overdone. No, I'm joking. No. Some people get that out there. You know what? I'm digging this whole feud. I'm digging the feud. And again, Cena bringing his A game, and it's absolutely, guys. I think that everybody kind of saw a New Day coming in, and that they're going to get intertwined with this, but. I'm really digging this whole, why not just you? I love the fact that Styles brought out basically what everybody says online, once you get that shovel out, one loss to you and you start to get buried around here, and these guys are making sure, listen, playing into what we all think or say or whatever, terms that are overused. I love that they're using terminology that fans think they know what they mean, but really misuse them all the time,
Oh, yeah.
And listen, I'm not please playing holier than thou. It's just one of those where sometimes we got to take a step back and let certain things breathe a little bit before we say that somebody's getting buried or it is whatever, but I like what they're doing. I really, really like what they're doing. I think this is establishing almost, in a way it felt okay, yeah, AJ Styles in the club, the guy that wasn't there for a while versus Cena, but now it feels like it's a little bit more personal. It feels like it is John, you just didn't almost what, you kept me away from WWE because you didn't want me in the same ring. And I'm not saying that he said that or that's, but it's almost like Cena was ducking me kind of deal.
Oh, yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. And, I thought Cena hold his own. Cena always holds his own on the mic. I don't know how to say. And the when he's like, your jokes are outdated as my jorts, I thought that was pretty funny. Even Cena could do some self-deprecating humor, which is not a bad thing at all.
I love it, and he didn't used to. When he started doing that, when Cena started loosening up a little bit, it was like, okay, I can't. This dude's the man. I can't hate on this dude.
Man, here's the thing though, when people tell me that AJ Styles is buried because he didn't win the title immediately from Reigns, and that he lost to Jericho at WrestleMania. I mean, come on, stop. Let's not act like the guy's never won a match in WWE history. Come on. By the way, speaking of SmackDown, check out AJ Styles versus Kofi Kingston from last week. Bad-ass match. They gave them time, and it was a really big spotlight match for Kofi as well, but we'll talk about that stuff later. AJ, to say that this guy's buried, even if he does lose his feud to Cena, even if he beats him once in this whole thing like Owens did last year, even if he beats him once clean, this guy's stock is already higher than I ever expected it to be in WWE. I didn't expect him to be in a title feud right off the bat when he was in the company. I didn't expect him to fight John Cena till Mania time. Hell, this is not even SummerSlam yet, and we're already getting this feud. Guys, Would you rather see Styles do what he's doing right now, or hang out with brother Nero right now, or broken Matt Hardy? Please, please pick your hill to die on, ladies and gentlemen. Please.
Well, here's the thing. For somebody that's getting buried, I've never seen somebody, and I mean, and I don't know. I'm sure everybody has like somebody that they can name, but I've never seen somebody on a losing streak keep getting elevated higher and higher and higher and higher. So if that's how you get buried, WWE, listen, I'll sign cheap. Just pay me. I said it before. Pay me in New Day merch. I'll work for New Day merchandise. It's okay. That'll be my paycheck. And if losing every match and every feud and getting buried means that I'm just going to keep getting more high profile and more high profile and more high profile matches, then damn it, bury me as deep down into the ground as you want. This is what I don't get about the everybody with the whole burying thing. It's they're telling a story, guys, and obviously they have major plans for AJ Styles. And the rumor mill is that Styles and Cena are going to go or headed over to SmackDown. So this is probably going to continue for a little while anyway. Yeah. And because they're being advertised for SmackDown shows. That's why I'm saying that, guys. It's not, and that's always card subject to change. They could be doing that as a swerve. I'm just putting it out there, but I think that, I don't even know, to be honest, Josh, if AJ Styles needs to even win a match in this. I don't. And because if he wins, he's going to win clean. Or, I mean, he's not going to win clean because of the club, which is how it's supposed to be because he's a part of a faction, guys. And I would imagine that he's either going to win because of a new joining member or he's going to win because of whatever the case may be. But I just, no matter what, people are going to complain because if he wins, it's not going to be clean. If he doesn't win, he doesn't win. But either way, this is going to elevate him to another level because it's elevating the club. It's elevating their status as a faction. It's probably going to bring somebody else into their faction and strengthen their faction. And at the end of the day, if they end up with the tag titles, in their camp and another title somewhere along the ways, it's a strong faction, man.
I don't remember people saying Ricky Steamboat was buried when the Four Horsemen cost him matches, or Dusty Rhodes was buried because the Four Horsemen cost him matches, or even Austin lost matches during the Attitude Era and because of the corporation or whatever. Like, come on, guys. Like, even if Styles picked up a victory over John Cena, a TNA guy beat John Cena. I don't care if it's heel, babyface, good guy, bad guy, the guy. It don't matter. We get so bogged down by this old system that's all played out. Hey, man, these guys can have matches of the year, and you guys got to worry about a finish that's subjective. Like, come on.
Like, yes, I'll say this. I think up until he turned on Cena, it was Mr. Because I keep calling him Mr. TNA. It was Mr. TNA AJ Styles. But now we're seeing New Japan Pro Wrestling AJ Styles with the club and everything. Yes. Nah, that's more of a joke. But
Ring of Honor.
AJ Styles. What's that?
Ring of Honor AJ Styles.
Yep. But yeah, it's regardless. This is putting AJ Styles in and even the legend grows, right? I mean, we never thought we'd see this feud, and now we're complaining because we're so focused on the outcome versus seeing what AJ Styles and John Cena. And again, guys, this is going to be another feud where at the end of the day, you're going to hear online, well, man, John Cena was really able to keep up with AJ Styles. No, guys, Cena can go too. These are two more guys that are going to have great chemistry. And I hope this is a couple-month feud. I really, really do.
Oh, yeah, me too. I think it'd be a missed opportunity if it's just a one-off thing. Even if Finn Balor showed up to the Raw and SmackDown roster. See, guys, not going to use the main roster. Overall, like I said, I enjoyed Raw. I guess the same sentiments for you, good brother?
Yeah, I dug it. I dug Teddy Long coming back real quick. I love the fact that he named every single match in the world until the very end. He waited till the end of his last appearance to say tag team match. So I like that. And I think that Tyler Breeze and Fandango are amazing. I'm sorry. Yeah. I am in love with their gimmick right now. It's so great, man. I love Breeze Dongo.
Going back to SmackDown when Tyler Breeze was like, Breeze and Fandango are a stunning combination. Oh God, these guys are perfect for each other. Not in the like don't miss my words, ladies and gentlemen, but I couldn't agree more.
No, you can tell them I've said it. They're an amazing combination. Yeah,
they are a great combination. And also, going to your point about Teddy Long, it was kind of cool seeing him on TV. I didn't know if he was going to be back or not. I got to interview Teddy Long in February. Really nice, sweet guy, really humble, and a little funny story. I asked him, like, when you said, like, holla holla play or listen to me, baby girl, something like that, some of his lines he uses all the time. And it's like, did that come off the top of your head or what's that scripted? He's like, no, play it. I that came off the top of my head, and most of the time Vince didn't give me any crap for it, so it was all good, play.
It kind of made me think Monday night, like whenever he flubbed like the line for SmackDown, where it was supposed to be the second longest episodic running television show in history or whatever.
Yeah,
it made me think like he did that intentionally. That's part of the whole. That's supposed to be a part of the whole Teddy Long charm, right? Because I don't know. I mean, maybe he didn't. I don't know. But I was trying to keep kayfabe alive and think that that's just Teddy just playing the crowd.
It was really nice to see him on TV, though. I thought it was really cool to see him. By the way, Stephanie looked hot this past Monday night. I got to say that. Triple H, you are a lucky bastard. I'll say that.
And you know what? Real quick, she certainly did toss her name into running SmackDown. Toss her name into the proverbial hat, didn't she?
Yeah. Now, here's the thing. Would you rather have Shane run Raw or Shane run SmackDown?
Me personally, yeah. I would want Shane to run SmackDown because I truly believe if this was going to be and I want to get your opinion on this too, but this is, for me, it is okay, I came back to show that I'm better, so I want to take the B show and make it the A show. So I think that I would want to see Shane take the challenge versus the old regime still running the old show, new era versus old era. Kind of like keep that balance going with that.
I'm gonna agree with you to a certain extent, but I do have to stick to my roster from the draft last week, so I'm keeping Shane McMahon on Raw.
I like that you were. I was drafting if it was just my show. I like that. I was like crossing things off, like dotting T's and I's, trying to send out. Write yourself a check. Like sending out contracts. Yeah, that was for any Blue Mountain State fans out there, which maybe one person saw that movie. So
you needed your monkeys in the back for that one, I guess.
Yeah, she got the joke, but I think if anybody else saw the Blue Mountain State movie, they got it. If not, sorry guys, I'm yelling for no reason.
It's all good. Hey, keep holding your voice. Maybe screaming more tonight.
Yeah, right.
Let's go to NXT tonight. NXT Takeover, the end is tonight on the WWE Network. Got some bad news for my end. I have to cover Lucha tonight. It starts at 7, so I will not be watching NXT live. But I'm looking forward to it. I'll be honest with you guys. The last couple NXT takeovers have not been blowing me away. I'm just to be honest with you. I think sometimes the TV shows hit and miss. I will give them credit with this. I think they did a great job when it comes to long-term storytelling with Samoa Joe and Finn Balor. This thing is finally coming to an end with the cage match tonight. I'll go over the card really quick, but maybe for me, it's just I think sometimes especially that takeover special in London, I thought that was a hit and miss for me. I'm not saying that all takeovers are bad. There's been some great ones. I thought like the first 3 or 4 of them were amazing. Like you couldn't even find a flaw in that. Even before Kevin Owens came to NXT, those first couple of takeover sessions were amazing. And you see what a lot of what's going on today's on-screen product on the main roster going on these takeover specials. So I'm hoping for a good show tonight. We have some interesting matches. We have obviously Joe and Balor in the cage. You got Asuka versus Nia Jax. That's the women's match for tonight. We have American Alpha against the Revival, my 2 tag teams running wild in my tag team division on the Josh Lopez Raw roster. You also have Austin Aries versus Nakamura. 2 other guys on my roster kicking ass. Literally, we got my full roster in the draft on this show tonight.
So you dropped the developmental to Raw. Way to go.
Almost all of it. I forgot the name of this guy. La Sombra. I'm just gonna say what his indie name was. La Sombra from CMLL. CMLL is making his debut tonight against Ty Dillinger. Is big product from Mexico. This guy's a very, very good performer. You guys can enjoy his work tonight. And I think Ty Dillinger is really underrated for what he does in the ring. His character is cool, the perfect 10. I like that. That's all fine and dandy. But he's very underrated in-ring performer. Are you excited for this special tonight or not?
Yes, and self-admittedly, it's because I haven't watched NXT since the last takeover, to be honest. It's just so much has been going on, getting everything set up, doing all kinds of stuff. It's just life has been crazy. So, NXT has not been something. And I'll admit, I've been catching more of SmackDown. So SmackDown kind of replaced NXT in my week, in that weekly spot where I have a little bit of time to watch something. So I'm a little behind. So I'm excited because it's going to be a good refresher for me. But NXT is one where you don't really need to watch the in-between shows, I don't feel like. And I'm not – Ronnie Starks is going to kill me for this one because first I want to see the Ghostbusters movie and he doesn't. Second, I don't want to see Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and that's all he's talking about. And now third, once I say I haven't watched NXT in like 2 months, he's might choke me through the computer later on tonight. But I think NXT is something that you can always just dip back in, anytime they have a special event, and they do such a good job with simplistic storytelling. The video packages leading up to the matches really tell the story and really can pull enough emotion out of you to care. And the matches are always significant. I'm surprised Bayley's not on the card, so I don't know if she's hurt or what the scenario is with that. But I think this is absolutely where Balor loses 2 in a row and gets out of the NXT title picture. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Here's my thing. Like, I think Aries and Nakamura is gonna be pretty good. Obviously, those guys are amazing performers. They're very good at what they do. I wonder though, like after this special tonight, like where does NXT go from here? That's what I want to know, because it is the end. I don't know what that means. I don't know if they're going to do like an NXT weekly show on the USA Network now. I don't know if it's just going to be all WWE Performance Center guys, or they're just going to have the TNA free agent market on NXT. I don't know, but what's your thoughts on that, Adam?
You know what, Josh? You're going to laugh about this because I like I was telling Matt the other night, I know you're one of the very few people that will remember me saying this because this was from an old podcast a while back. But and I know Taz said this week, so he's going to get all the credit, and I'm not trying to whatever. But, I said last year I thought that the first Raw should get trimmed down to 2 hours, and they should make an NXT replay from 8 to 9 on the USA Network, have it the previous week's NXT that airs on Wednesday on the network, have it on the USA Network from 8 to 9, and then have Raw from 9 to the 11 o'clock plus the run over. That way, you're getting more eyes on NXT. You're trimming Raw down. You're still having people invest 3 hours into, technically into a product, but you're pulling the Sean Diddy Combs mind fuck on them, where you're kind of they're still watching 3 hours. They just think that they're watching 2 different shows, and in people's minds, Raw is getting trimmed down to 2 hours. So and Josh, that's something that, you and I talked about a year ago. So it's, I'm glad Taz brought it out and has been talking about it, because I think there is an argument to be made there. I truly do. But I think that could help NXT, because like you said, where does NXT go from here? My concern is that, even myself included, I haven't been as interested in NXT. Like they've brought up so much talent so quickly. NXT has a little bit different feel right now, which is okay. It's just taking me a little bit. I'm just not used to it. Like, I'm not a big Samoa Joe fan, and Samoa Joe's a great talent. But again, guys, it's the characters. I'm not talking about the people. But I always have to say that, because people it's such an egotistical business, and people get so butthurt. It's just a character. Like, I don't know, shoot on me, I guess. I don't know, make me famous for a change. Ryback, no. I just think that I think right now, they need to do something to pique interest back into NXT. They pulled I don't want to say they pulled talent out too early because, listen, at least Balor's still down there, and the people that came up absolutely deserve to come up, and I do think that what is going to be now Raw and SmackDown needs the talent to come up. But NXT is going to have a much different look come SummerSlam, and I don't know. It's going to take a little bit for me to kind of get used to it. But, I want to say I do like Taz's idea. I'll give him credit for it because he said it on a giant podcast. I mean, it's, the podcast when we were doing it, I don't know, a couple hundred people were listening to it maybe. So, but listen, I loved the idea last year when I said it. I love it now when Taz is saying it.
I'm looking forward to tonight. Let's do a rapid fire prediction here so we can move on because I have some things I need to get off my chest before we go in a little bit positive note because I've dealt with 2 weeks of the worst television wrestling wise I've seen in my entire life. Okay, let's do this really quick. Balor and Joe, what goes down here?
Joe wins. Joe wins. And I think they'll do it where Joe wins clean. There might even be a handshake afterwards.
Yeah, I'll go with Joe too. Asuka, Nia Jax, LOL Samoa wins.
I'll go Asuka.
I'll go with Asuka, but hey, if Nia Jax wins, everybody will blame Roman Reigns for it. American Alpha versus the Revival.
Oh man, I'm digging American Alpha and the Revival. So I without really seeing the build on this one, I'm gonna say I still like American Alpha a little bit better. If they're about to bring them up, maybe they flip-flop titles. If not, I think if they're going to be brought up, obviously there's going to be a title change tonight. If there's no title change, American Alpha stays in NXT. So I'm just going to say whatever is planned, which is the worst thing to a scripted show you could ever say. I don't know what's going to happen. Whatever they have written for the finish. That's my prediction. Whatever's written for the finish is what's going to happen. No, American Alpha.
Yeah, American Alpha. Aries Nakamura. We'll finish off with that.
Oh, Nakamura.
Ali, Bomaye. Nakamura, Bomaye. You see, Nakamura had Ali was a big influence to Nakamura, so that's where he got the Bomaye name for his finishing move. So I'm looking forward to tonight. Should be interesting. I do admit I do like Corey Graves as Tom Phillips as a commentary team more than I like the Rich Brennan guy. I just think Tom Phillips and Corey Graves fit the NXT style more. But
I love Graves.
Graves.
I think Graves would do very well on Raw or SmackDown too, because I think that he that he's that younger voice. He's in tune with that the generation that really sinks its teeth into wrestling. I feel like Graves has the best pulse out of, listen, Moro is the best classic, and I think Graves could be really good if he was on one of the main shows.
I found out last night while watching Impact that Corey Graves' brother is actually in TNA. His name is Sam Elias, his wrestling name, but for some reason TNA called him a local independent competitor. So I want to apologize to all the diehard TNA fans that ripped me in my article last night for not getting his name right. That's on the company's fault. I can't just see a random guy on my television screen and know who he is. Sorry. I try to dive in much into the indie scene as much as anybody else, but even then, even I need a break from wrestling and try to check out other stuff as well. So, so TNA last night. And I'm gonna preface my next series of comments by saying that it's not the problem in the ring. These guys are amazing performers. I love the action that goes on in the ring. That's probably the only enjoyment I do get out of covering TNA is that the matches are really good and that they have a good flow, so it helps me out with my play-by-play article. But I've had it up to here with the excessive talking that's on this show. And it's not even dialogue is that good either, and that's a bad thing. When you have a promo with Eli Drake, Abyss, the Bromans, Al Snow, Grado, Mama Shera for 15 fucking minutes. Like,
wait.
on.
Not to interrupt, man, but wait, they have who are the Bromans? Can I know more about this, please?
Robbie E and the guy from Big Brother.
Oh God.
Like, seriously, guys, like I said, it's not the talent's fault. We say this all the time whenever it comes to TNA, but God, man, everybody thinks the creative team for WWE is bad. Look at this shit I had to deal with every Tuesday nights. Not only that, we have the worst commentary team in the history of wrestling. Hell, you could put Todd Grisham and Mike Adamle on right there, and I'd rather listen to them than Josh Matthews and the Pope right now. It's god awful, and literally, like, you watch TNA each week, and it goes worse and worse and worse and worse. And here's the problem I have with this. This is what pisses me off. For years and years, even before I started my own wrestling show, people would always say, "Oh, I'm just a shill. I've only ever been just a WWE guy." And that pisses me off because I put a lot of time into my articles for Lucha, TNA, New Japan, and Ring of Honor. I've did that for almost 3 years now. And to say that I'm just a WWE guy is bullshit, because if I was just a WWE guy, I wouldn't be covering Lucha. I wouldn't waste my time with TNA. I would stop watching them 3 years ago, even after the fact when they tried to charge me money to interview one of the wrestlers. Yeah, when I was one of the only few media guys out there that wanted to promote their product. But no, I got to pay over $200 because I'm not on Sirius XM. I'm not on CBS. So I could have been that bitter guy and say, fuck you, TNA, and I wouldn't cover their show. But I did it. You know why? Because I'm a wrestling fan. I'm not a one company guy. I'm a wrestling fan. And here's the thing. Everybody wants to know, where's the competition? Where's the Monday Night Wars that was so great that never did anything wrong? Here's the problem. When you have your pro wrestling companies like TNA, that's your banner for pro wrestling, and it's not an offense for Ring of Honor because they're doing a great job, and it's not a dig at Ring of Honor. But when it comes to brass tacks in real life, TNA is the standard bearer of pro wrestling right now. It is, as far as the company wise, TV penetration, whatever you want to call it. TNA is the standard bearer of pro wrestling. It's not WWE, because WWE is a sports entertainment company. It's a sports entertainment company. It's not pro wrestling. And when you watch TNA, and this shit that represents pro wrestling, it gives the companies like Ring of Honor and New Japan and Lucha a bad vibe. Because those shows are busting their ass and they're trying to do something different. And I don't know what the fuck am I covering every Tuesday night. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. I want TNA to succeed. And everybody wants to talk about the financial thing and who should be running TNA or whatever. You had so many opportunities on a silver platter. You had CM Punk on your roster. You had so many other guys on your roster over the years in TNA. And you had so many great opportunities to take that next level and give WWE competition when it was down 4 or 5 years ago. But what happened? You got booted off 3 networks in that time period.
Listen, there was a time in the 2000s, the mid-2000s, like maybe around 04, 05, 06-ish, where TNA had better pay-per-views. Mm-hmm. Almost every month, their pay-per-views were better.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, I couldn't agree more, and it's disappointing. So when the people come out of their soapbox like Warhood and all these other people that say that I'm just a shill and I'm only a WWE guy, fuck you, because I had to sit down there and cover this bullshit for the last 3 years with a smile on my face, and I get paid for it when I had to deal with their company's bullshit when I was one of the only few that wanted to promote their fucking product. So
you know what's
fuck
crazy?
you.
It's funny that I'm known as the indie guy and you're known as like a WWE guy, but I probably watch more WWE than anything else anymore, just because I I'm sorry, guys. I'm a parent. And I don't have as much free expendable time, and what I do is trimmed down a little bit. But yeah, it's funny when the things with TNA. Here's where I'm at with TNA. I can't really comment because I don't get to see the show. I mean, I just don't get Pop TV, and I wish I did because I do want to see, or at least kind of give it a chance to see, because there's a lot of people in TNA that I really do like. And we talk about this on a weekly basis, but I watched one of their Periscope things the other day.
Yeah,
I thought that was cool. But I don't know, man. I think that, just like what the Hardys did and what the Hardys are doing with the whole Brother Nero thing, like, listen, it's getting people to talk, and I don't know. Kudos to the Hardys for getting people at least talking about Slammiversary. Otherwise, I don't think anybody would even really know that Slammiversary was around. But I think it's one of those where if it's sometimes we got to call it like it is, right? And I mean, we say WWE, we understand that it's different than all these other wrestling shows. Hell, I watched Ring of Honor the other night at like 3 a.m. because I couldn't sleep. And a couple of weeks ago, there was just like this Saturday special where it was like the best of Jay Lethal that me and my daughter sat down and watched. And she just kept yelling at Truth Martini the whole time. It's absolutely hysterical because I'm a big Truth fan. But, I think that what you see out of Ring of Honor, like Ring of Honor actually got me more excited for their pay-per-view coming up than, even though all the big-time names that you have in TNA, then, and the potential of Slammiversary is one of their biggest, pay-per-views. And maybe it's because I don't get to see the show, but I don't know. It's just I do wish I got Pop TV to see what's going on. And I don't want to say that it's good or bad, but I know what I've seen hasn't been really that great. Again, it seems almost like desperation. Next thing you know, they're going to be pulling in people for one-offs, paying them a boatload of money, which is really, I think, what put that company under to begin with, right? They were just bringing in big names that were just grabbing a bunch of money and leaving and just walking out whenever they wanted to. I don't know. I don't know why TNA has never really worked since like maybe 05, 06. I don't know.
It's just disappointing. Like for me, like I enjoy the in-ring action. It's rare for me to snap at wrestling shows because I'm not that guy. And I take a lot of pride and passion in the work I do. And yeah, do I get paid to cover TNA? Sure. I'm not going to gloat about it. It's whatever. Hey, you got to do what you got to do to make money. I'm not going to say, oh, I'm better than somebody because, oh, I get paid to do play-by-play articles. Whatever. It's whatever. It's not like I have free time in my hand either. Like, I don't have a lot of time to myself. I have a sports show, a national sports show I do 5 days a week. I got other shit I got to do throughout the day, and then I got to do articles, and then I get to spend a couple hours with one of my best friends on a Wednesday. So, hey, what do I have to complain? You know what I mean? Like, but it's disappointing because I want TNA to succeed. Am I looking forward to Slammiversary? Sure. The match card is looking really good. And here you go. It's a pay-per-view, so I don't have to worry about 20-minute soliloquies that have nothing to do with the show. I don't have to deal with Brother Nero crap. I can just watch the matches. And TNA has good action. That's not the problem. Again, the action is not the problem. But your overall presentation is pure garbage. Period.
Yeah, I do. I wish I got to see it. That's why I don't want to say, good or bad, because there's a lot of stuff with like the Miracle Mike Bennett and Mike and Maria that I want to see. I want to see what Galloway's up to. I want to see what, I want to see what EC3's been up to. I want to see, I think Rockstar Spud's another guy that people don't give him not enough credit. He's a super charismatic guy and gets the fans, gets the business, gets his place in. I don't know. There's so many people that I really enjoy watching. Every time I try to give it a chance to, there's just something. It seems like there's something missing or it doesn't fit. But I haven't watched it since it's moved to Pop TV. That's why I really would like to see it. But I don't want to say good or bad. I just know that the whole Brother Nero thing is as interesting and strange and bizarre as it might be. Brother Nero understands why he must do those ridiculous promos. It's for the paycheck. that may or may not clear coming from TNA brass. I don't know.
All right, man. Like I said,
sorry, I love the Hardy Boys. That's why I hate seeing the flack that they're getting, because they're just tapping into the creativity and stuff like that they want to do, and it's about creating buzz, but it is absolutely absurdly ridiculous too.
Yeah, there's two things I am looking forward to though when it comes to TNA. Is the EC3 Mike Bennett feud's been great. I will say that I've been enjoying that a lot, and also Drew Galloway versus Bobby Lashley has been awesome. So props for Galloway getting an opportunity to show what he can do as a world champion, and that he's actually main eventing another pay-per-view for TNA. So that's that. If people want to know if I have any positives towards TNA, it would be those two things right there. So hey, it's not all. I'm just talking about the last 2 weeks of television, and it really boggles my mind when people say, where's the competition? When you have TNA as your standard bearer for that competition, and it's not delivering. They have so many opportunities to bring that competition level, but they dropped the ball so many times during that time period. It's just that simple.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I mean, for a while it was the 6-sided ring, and I'll admit, guys, I should have been able to get over that, but I just couldn't. There was something that it was in my mind. It just didn't seem right. It didn't feel right. It felt to me like it took away from the fluidity to some matches. You know, and maybe that's just me being. It's almost like me being very Vaderish, right? Talking about Ospreay and Ricochet. It's just one of those but I never complained about it. I just didn't watch it. I never called it shitty or anything like that. I couldn't grab on. I really want TNA to succeed though, and it just, at the end of the day, they've tried so many different things, and there's only one constant, and that's Dixie Carter. And I don't want to say anything like I don't know her. I don't know anything about her. I've only heard good things about Dixie Carter, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
You know, from people that have known her or kind of through the grapevine know her or whatever. You know how everybody talks, you know, whatever. But I've only heard good stories. It's just she's still the only constant there, and it hasn't been good for 10 years, 12 years. So about 10 years. Maybe common sense.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I will say this though. I don't know if you've seen it on YouTube yet, but EC3 Tyrus and Spud did a parody of the Matt Hardy brother Nero stuff from last week. It was really funny. So if you guys want a comedy thing, you guys go check that out on the TNA YouTube channel. That was really, really funny. But they do got some good matches for Slammiversary this Sunday. So if you guys are a TNA fan, go support them. Buy the pay-per-view. Don't stream it. I mean, come on. Help the company out. Or
stream it and at least get the C part of it. No, I'm joking, guys. Don't stream it, please. That's all I need. That's all I need.
A couple more things before we head out here. We will talk about our top 3 Money in the Big matches, but last Friday we did lose a sports legend and just a overall iconic human being. Ever since I've been born, a lot of people put this guy to the highest pedestals. I mean, this guy has had so much praise, like a Michael Jackson or so many other like great legends and icons from whether it's sports, music, entertainment, or whatever. Like Muhammad Ali is one of those iconic guys, like a Martin Luther King as well too. So Muhammad Ali passed away this past Friday at the age of 74. He's been dealing with Parkinson's disease for a long time, and I guess the only saving grace in this bad news is that he's in a better place and he's not suffering anymore. That's my approach always when it comes to these situations whenever somebody passes away. 26 has been a horrible year with deaths, man. They were horrible, man. You had Kimbo Slice, who passed away way too young this past Monday night. For those that know me, my favorite band's the Eagles, and Glenn Frey passed away earlier in January. You had David Bowie, you had Prince, Merle Haggard, Robin Williams last year, the comedian. It's been rough this year. I will say that, but I'll say for myself, my thoughts on Muhammad Ali. I wasn't born during that time period, so I can't appreciate his boxing for what it was for that time period because I was not part of it. Have I done research? Absolutely. Did I see the Ali movie with Will Smith? Yeah. but the one thing I take away from Muhammad Ali, whether it was his career or just his life in general, was heart. That's the main thing I take away from Muhammad Ali is he had heart. And whether you agree or disagree with his mindsets or what he preached or whatever, that's up to you. But whenever he was obstacle came in front of him, he just showed a lot of heart, and that's what I take away from Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, this one it's another one where, and I'll admit, guys, I'm not a big boxing fan, so I'm not going to pretend like, Muhammad Ali. I never saw the Ali movie. I don't, and I don't really invest a lot of time into Muhammad Ali's stuff. It's on the boxing realm. I really appreciated Muhammad Ali as a man. I appreciated the fact that, I'm going to get heat for this one, but one of my favorite things is, listen, he said, I'm not dodging a draft. He said, because the real enemies are right here. I'm scared of you. And, I don't want to use the language he was using well, I guess we could on this show. I'm scared of you, motherfuckers. He was like, you guys are out to kill me. Not no Viet Cong, not no this, not no that. I thought Ali was one that, I always go back to it. It's refreshing when somebody sticks to their convictions, and they are not shy about their convictions either. That's very rare in a very fake society, and especially during that time frame when you think, him converting to Islam and being as vivacious and vocal as he was. I always think back to coming to America, like "Mama call him Clay, I'ma call him Clay," which is a quote that we'll always quote, till the end of time from that movie. But
yeah,
he was very vocal in a time where he had a lot to lose, and he did for a couple years. Like, he lost 3 years of his career, but at the end of the day, to me, that's the measure of a man. And I'll remember Muhammad Ali more for what he did outside of the boxing ring than what he ever did inside the ring, because I'm just not a boxing guy, but I am a human rights guy. So.
And he was the man. He had a lot of obstacles, and I got to interview George Foreman once a couple years ago on the radio for an old sports show that I used to produce. And he's a really cool guy. And Ali, got the hammer from the country for the fact that he didn't want to be in the war and stuff. And then after that, he was stripped from the title, and then he made that comeback and beat George Foreman when everybody was like, "Oh no, there's no way," because he was already dealing with some bad concussion stuff during that time period, and everybody's like, "Oh, Foreman's gonna kill Ali." But Ali won that match, so he's the man. He'll be missed. I know a lot of people are influenced by Ali, like The Rock and so many other wrestlers. This is a wrestling standpoint. A lot of people talked about it this week, and I thought they played a great package on Raw, paying tribute to Muhammad Ali. He was a big wrestling fan. He was at a lot of old WWF shows. He fought Gorilla Monsoon. He wrestled Antonio Inoki. He was at the first WrestleMania. So maybe it's too soon or whatever, but if anybody's willing, in my opinion, to be a celebrity wing in the Hall of Fame, it would be Muhammad Ali. Not because that he passed, but he was a big fan of the business, and I think he helped the business grow a little bit more when he was involved.
And I think it was Gorgeous George, right? Is who he basically modeled his whole Muhammad Ali larger than life, persona after. I think he saw Gorgeous George and he thought, you know what? He's just running his mouth, and that's when he said, "I came out with I am the greatest," and that kind of stuff. So, hey, listeners, like Bobby Lashley said when people said, "What's sports entertainment? Is it MMA or is it professional wrestling or what is it?" And he said, "It's all sports entertainment." I think Muhammad Ali is another great example of, listen, so is boxing. Boxing is absolutely just as much sports entertainment. I understand it's not scripted, or at least Vegas doesn't want you to think so. But, it is very much so that Ali understood the entertainment side of it. And that's, one of those where he's always going to be remembered for it. And he's going to be, listen, we always, in today's world, we always have to do, is it LeBron? Is it Kobe? Is it Michael Jordan? Is it this or this? Muhammad Ali is one of the few people that it's undisputed he's the greatest of all time in the sport that he's in. So, I mean, if nothing else, when it comes to boxing, we absolutely have to acknowledge that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I don't even know if there's so, like even like like you said in the NFL, there's always talk about who's better, Brady or Montana or Jordan or LeBron or whoever. I think the closest may be Wade Gretzky in that scenario, because when it comes to hockey, I don't see a lot more people that talk about like great legends in hockey besides Wayne Gretzky. So, I could agree with you more there.
Joe Louis, the greatest fighter that ever lived. Don't forget, Joe Louis, the greatest fighter that ever lived.
Yes.
I'm going to do the Coming to America skit the rest of this show.
Yes. Ali Bomaye. By the way, Ali was involved in making the Ali movie with Will Smith. For those that wanted to know, he actually did have part of making that movie. So if you guys haven't seen that, go check it out. I think that's I'm a fan of Will Smith. I loved The French Prince as a kid. I was a 90s kid. I loved that show. Whenever Carlton did the Carlton dance and the Tom Jones hit blasted, I always thought that was pretty cool. So go check out that movie with Will Smith, Ali. All right. One last thing before we head out here. Top 3 Money in the Bank matches. And we're going to tie in your questions that I got from Frank and Ryan to close out this show. Top 3 Money in the Bank matches, ladder matches, not pay-per-view matches. Maybe I'll say that for next week. But this week we'll do top 3 Money in the Bank ladder matches. You can add in the conversation down below in the comment section, or you can send a tweet at WC Josh Lopez or Adam Daley 13. I'll start off with my list, and then I'll let Adam get some time to get his list down. Here's the deal. Number 3, I'll go with the SmackDown Money in the Bank from 2011 in Chicago, where Daniel Bryan won the Money in the Bank briefcase. I just thought that was one of the great openers in Money in the Bank pay-per-view history. I thought that was a great match, and even Sheamus looked good in that match, even though Sin Cara got hurt. What else is new? Number 2, this may shock some people, but I really did like that Money in the Bank All-Stars from 2013 when Randy Orton won it. You had Punk, you had RVD, you had Bryan, you had Orton, Sheamus, Christian. I really enjoyed that one. That was probably my second favorite one. And then my number 1 has to be, man, here's the thing, because Money in the Bank matches really have had a life of its own. You had the first one at WrestleMania 21, all the way to a bevy of WrestleMania matches. I got it. My favorite Money in the Bank match of all time is Orlando, Florida, the home of next year's WrestleMania 24. CM Punk winning the Money in the Bank ladder match. That was my favorite Money in the Bank ladder match.
Who didn't know that was coming, right? Who didn't know that was coming? Just like my list, I'm sure people aren't going to get. No, you know what? I'm going to put Punk's 2 together because, guys, I don't want to make it seem like too much of a homer, but I was not at the only one I wasn't at. I'm going to put it number 3 was the first ever one. I think there's something when it's the first time, it's always special, you know. So I definitely, and especially the competitors that were in that match. I mean, it was an all-star lineup. So the first Money in the Bank at WrestleMania 21 is my number 3. My number 2, I'm putting Punk's first and second as a combo deal. I was at WrestleMania 24 and 25, so I saw them both live. I definitely, Punk's first was a much better match. Matt Hardy coming back and surprising everybody by taking out MVP mid-match was great. A lot of great, crazy spots. I think it had a lot of really good talent in the match as well. But my number 1, I was also there, WrestleMania 22, RVD, man. When RVD won, it was just, as an old school ECW fan, to see RVD finally win, or think that, okay, they're going to give him a main title, and you know, see him actually finally go and get the cat, you know, win the WWE Championship was super cool from just an old school fan standpoint. Unfortunate he had to get pulled over and get the title stripped of him, but basically for not doing anything that bad, everybody out there should get over. If it was 10 years later, it would have been a non-issue.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And one of my favorite parts from that match was Benjamin running up the ladder doing a somersault plancha onto everybody in the outside. I thought that was really cool. That Money in the Bank match was awesome.
Yeah, Yeah, I mean and Chicago's crowd was hyped up. I like that Flair was in it and got taken out early, and then kind of that whole thing. It was, I don't know, I thought it was a really good one because there was a string of where the Money in the Bank matches were really, really good, in a row at WrestleMania. So I didn't want to seem like I was too much of a homer, guys, but went with ones I was there for the most part.
If you really think about it, when it comes to everybody talks about Shawn Michaels being Mr. WrestleMania, if you look at Mr. Money in the Bank, I only have two guys that come to mind to me. One, Edge. I'm just talking pay-per-view wise, not the match, but Edge and John Cena. I say John Cena because he had one of the greatest WWE title matches of all time against Punk in 2011. He won the Money in the Bank in 2012. He won the world title in a ladder match in Boston a couple years ago. I remember that because Brock whooped his ass the next month at SummerSlam. And then last year with Owens, the match we had with Owens last year at Money in the Bank was really good. And who knows, maybe this year with Styles, he could top that as well. So we'll see.
I see what you did there. I like that. I like that calling him Mr. Money in the Bank. I like that. Like having little trademarks for each pay-per-view now. I like that. I like it. But I think that's just Big Match John. I think anymore, guys, we just got to, I think, and Josh, me and you, we always joke about this, but come on, guys. If you're still hating on Cena saying he can't wrestle, again, go back to OVW days and look at the prototype and then just understand it was a business decision to trim his moveset down. Dude can go.
Yeah. 7-Eleven wanted him to do the 5 moves of doom, but that's neither here there. All right, let me read a couple comments that we have here on our YouTube channel. Our buddy Nick from the UK, what's up, good brother? Thanks for reaching out. He said he agreed with you, Adam, about the Rounds of Jericho podcast. That was really good. But he also said that he hates that Bret Hart just is the sour grapes all the time. And he says that Bret needs to pipe down a little bit.
I love Bret, but he does see is he still Mr. 4 out of 10? Are we still gonna run with that joke? Because I haven't forgotten. Never never forget.
Little plug for WrestleZone. The Sharpshooter Show, they actually have a 4 out of 10 segment each week. Bret Hart gets a 4 out of 10 to somebody each week.
That's excellent.
And then the other comment he had, he said on our topic about if AJ Styles is being buried, he agreed with our points. He's like, how do you go from being third in the Rumble, a good feud with Jericho at Mania, in front of 100,000 people, headlining Madison Square Garden, his first year with the company, a title feud with Roman Reigns and John Cena, but he's buried. He said I couldn't say it better.
I want people to understand that this is like the 0-16 Detroit Lions playing in the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? He keeps losing, and it's almost like losses are elevating him. It's like, nah, listen, this team's so bad, we gotta keep putting them on TV. And I'm obviously, that's a joke, guys. I'm not. AJ Styles is absolutely great. That's why he's in all these matches. But that was reference for comedy, but no, it's absolutely right, man. I don't see how people can say he's the only dude I know that keeps losing but keeps winning. In real life, you can't lose that much and still come out smelling like roses.
Ryan's top 3 Money in the Bank matches are the SmackDown one from 2011, WrestleMania 21, and WrestleMania 23 from Ford Field. That was the one Mr. Kennedy won. Mr. Anderson. I wasn't that big fan of WrestleMania 23. It's all good, I guess. Go figure. Donald Trump was on that WrestleMania.
You know what? That match kind of gets overlooked though, because Kennedy was gone a month later. Edge took the briefcase from him, and it was really over that one match with Orton or something or other, and who knows the real story behind it. But I think that's why that one gets overlooked. I really do.
Mm-hmm. One last thing before we head out here. Frank wanted to know, out of the matches that is announced for Money in the Bank so far, which one do you think will steal the show? I do want to say this, though. I thought it was a great choice to have that 4-way match with New Day, the Club, Enzo and Cass, and the Vaudevillains for Money in the Bank. I think that's going to be awesome. But out of those matches that we know so far for Money in the Bank, what do you think will seal the show next Sunday?
Styles and Cena.
Yeah. I think it is Styles and Cena. And here's the thing. I feel weird saying that main event steals the show when it's the main event. Isn't that the point? It's the last match of the show, so how can it steal the show when it's the last match?
You know what, not only that, I don't think we're going to get, which I'm okay with. I just know how people are going to react because people forget that it's a story that they're telling us, not an actual, an event.
Sports.
But yeah, right. But I don't think that we're going to have a conclusive finish to Rollins and Reigns. And I think this is where we start to see somewhat of a, if people want to still call it that, a babyface turn out of Seth Rollins, or Seth Rollins just still being Seth Rollins, because again, he hinted on the Talk is Jericho podcast that a Triple H feud is coming very soon. I don't want to say he said very soon, but he basically kind of,
it'll happen. Basically,
it's coming, and I think it's going to be coming sooner than later, guys. Maybe even SummerSlam. And if that's the case, they're going to have to start. Does Triple H come out at the end of this match? Because maybe he doesn't want Rollins or Reigns being champion. Does maybe I think there's, so much can happen to this, and I think that's another reason why they're keeping Rollins off TV and keeping his mic time limited, because I think they know that the crowd's going to be they're going to welcome the cheers very soon. They're just trying to hold it back. So but that's the only reason why I'm not putting that match first as far as what I think is going to steal the show, just because I think it's going to have somewhat of a screwy finish, and I think that we're all going to be more pleased with the Cena Styles finish.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, to say the least. Money in the Bank is going to be a lot of fun. We'll preview it next week on the podcast. Next week, I got a little announcement for you guys. A good friend of mine, his name is Kerry Morris. You guys may know him as the Squared Circle guy. He's on the front row of a lot of the pay-per-views. He's a good friend of mine. I got to chat with him over the last couple of months. He's going to be on the show with us next week to talk about the pay-per-view. So it's going to be a lot of fun to have Kerry on the show. Talk about the fan and talk about sometimes a lot of fans come out with the cosplay and get that point of view. I think that'd be a lot of fun as well to talk about that. And it's going to be a lot of fun. So check out Kerry. You can follow him on Twitter at the Squared Circle Guy. It's SQD Circle Guy. So just follow him on Twitter. It shouldn't be that hard to find him. Anyways, good brother. Thanks for coming on, man. As always, do you have anything you'd like to plug or send out to the good peeps out there?
I do. Real quick, I just wanted to give a shout out to my buddy Scar from the Raider Nation. You guys know I'm a big Raider fan. Scar is a big-time San Jose Sharks fan. So, of course, this is the one time where a family is divided, as we like to say. So me and the Raider Nation are kind of like, we're arguing right now. We're going through a separation, I guess you could say. So I wanted to give a shout out to all my Raider Nation peeps. It's been a good Stanley Cup series. I'm not going to gloat, but it's going to be fun finally winning a Stanley Cup at home.
You got your hall.
Oh, was that too much? Monkeys in the truck that I laid on too thick. I'm sorry. I can't jinx them. I just had to kind of get a little thing. Love you, Star. I just need to shout you out.
Oh, man. By the way, check out Adam on the Pipebomb with McCool and Company on New Age Insiders. That's a new podcast Adam's on weekly. Mr. McCool, you better hope that the Penguins get it done tonight. Just saying.
Tomorrow night. He already knows that I'm on limited time tomorrow, just because listen, Matt understands that, but it's just funny because Matt's a big Philly fan, so this is like the worst thing, because I know if it was the flip side, I'd be like, oh, in a way I kind of have to pull for Philly just for them to get out quick and to be like, damn it. And then it's like you're just questioning it, like, is this even real life anymore?
Is it real life? By the way, follow Matt at Twitter at McCool24. He's a really cool guy. Who knows? Maybe one of these days we'll have Matt on the show. I know Matt has reached out to me, so I'll be on Pipebomb with McCool and Company pretty soon, so that'll be a lot of fun. Check out Adam's show, the comedy show with his lovely wife Sam, Wrestling With. Always fun. I come there occasionally when I do have the time to come on, but check out Wrestling With, and just support all the good wrestling shows out there that are genuine and like to have fun. There's nothing wrong with having a good time and joke with each other. Yeah, I snapped a little bit at TNA, but I had a purpose behind it. I just didn't say just for the hell of it. Go ahead.
You know what, Josh? I guess I should plug that. Yeah, we're taping Wrestling With tonight after NXT. So we'll be live after NXT. Not that we're doing, it's not going to be like a live NXT special. We're going to blend in Raw. It's just our normal show. Honestly, guys, because we were going to skip a week, and I just decided, let's just get something out there for you guys, because I don't like skipping weeks, guys. As exhausted as I am right now, especially with the Penguins and everything else that's going on and work and just, blah blah blah. But we're going to go live after NXT tonight, just even for a brief period of time, just to talk about some of the more, some of the bigger topics that are out there.
Yeah, check out Wrestling With at Twitter at Wrestling With as well. Shout out to the good brother Ronnie Starks as well at Ronnie at Starks Wrestling. So I want to give
the birthday boy. His birthday this week.
Belated birthday, yep. Mm-hmm. He is the man. Also, happy belated birthday to Mick Foley. Bang bang! Yesterday was his birthday. He turned 51 yesterday. So shout out to.
And don't forget Patrick. I don't want to. We better take care of my whole crew. But make sure Patrick's taken care of too. Shout out to Pat.
Rated PWF on Twitter. Check him out. Hopefully Bane makes an appearance sometime soon. Just saying. All right.
The Squad's coming soon, so I'm sure.
Yes, sir. Follow Adam at Twitter at AdamDaley13. I'm at Twitter down below right there. WC Josh Lopez. Hope you guys enjoy NXT Takeover the end tonight. It might be a historical night. There may be some implications with the brand split of where NXT goes. So it should be a very interesting night on the WWE Network for $9.99, Michael. For Adam, I'm Josh. Thank you guys for checking out episode 7 of the Josh Lopez Wrestling Podcast. We love you guys, and we'll talk to you next week. Peace.